Who has impressed you in the everyday lineup?
Even though you look at his stats and they're not overly impressive, I've been really impressed with Tyler Freeman because he's had some, the batting average is low, it's early. He's had some big-time clutch hits, and I think he's brought a ton of energy on the bases. He runs the bases really well. And having to do that while learning a new position in the big leagues, and he's really only made one mistake in the first week and change. He had one that he misplayed on, my days are all messed up, whatever it was, earlier this week. He missed. Besides that, he's looked great out there. And that's hard to change positions from an infielder to outfielder, basically in the majors. I know he did it in spring training, but he's still learning on the job. So I've been really impressed with what he's done so far.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. Let me ask you this, though. When you look at the Guardians lineup, you know, Kwan, yeah. Ramirez, yeah. Jimenez, maybe. Naylor, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's a whole lot of question marks. And
yeah.
The one thing I would argue, this 1 through 9 approach, unlike a team that has power hitters is mistake, home run, run on the board. You need 3 things to happen. You need a guy to get on base, you need him to get over to second base, and then you need somebody to drive him in. That's asking a lot day in and day out.
Yeah, obviously the hitting's been great so far, but the home runs are still not there. It's not like they're hitting a ton of home runs. I mean, they were dead last in the majors in home runs. You can't be successful that way. Now, can they get to the middle of the pack? I don't see it on paper. You can do it if you're in the middle of the pack, if you're getting on base a lot. Excuse me. If you're stealing a lot of bases, which they're capable of. But yeah, especially when you face good teams and good pitchers, you're not going to be able to rely consistently on putting together a ton of singles and doubles. Now, to their credit, they faced 3 excellent pitchers in a row in Seattle, the last 2 games in Seattle and the first game in Minnesota, and they did a very good job against all. And those are 3 of the top 15 pitchers in the American League, and they did a very good job. We'll see if they can do that consistently. But yeah, I mean, Tyler Freeman is a question mark. Right field is a huge question mark, Brennan and Laureano. Shortstop's a question mark. Again, I'm sure you love it. I love the start that Rocchio's off to. And he was a top prospect, so there's reason to believe he'll be good, but he's a question mark. DH, they don't really have anything right now. Hopefully Kyle Manzard will come up, play first base, and they'll move Naylor to DH. I love Bo Naylor. He had a great finish the last year. He's got to prove it. So there's a lot of unproven guys, and the Guardians at best have had mixed success with young hitters. We know they've done great with young pitchers. With hitting, it's been a mixed bag. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of question marks. I really wanted to see them go out and at least bring in one legitimate, proven guy. I mean, the fact that they have not had a single outfielder hit even 20 home runs since Michael Brantley over a decade ago is insane. We're not talking about 40. We're not talking about 30. 20 home runs. There's a lot of guys who hit 20 home runs, and they haven't had an outfielder hit 20 in over a decade. And I don't really see a guy right now on this team that's going to do it this year.
The other thing that's a little bit concerning, they haven't developed a lot of position players.
No.
When you look at it, Jose is like,
yeah.
And now Bo Naylor.
And Jose wasn't even a top prospect, which is funny because he kind of came out of nowhere. And obviously Lindor. But, yeah, I mean, I think things look very promising on Bo Naylor, that he's being developed. I think there's a lot of promise on Rocchio, some on Freeman. To me, Will Brennan's a bench player. Laureano's already a veteran. I want nothing to do with him. I don't have any faith in Florial. I don't really like Gabriel Arias. I like what I saw from Chase DeLauder in spring training. I understand why they sent him down. He's got to play. He's only played 5 games above A-ball.
Right.
That's a huge jump. Even though he did well in spring training, there's a big difference between spring training and regular season. And so, yeah, and Manzardo feels like the surest thing of their prospects. But until you prove it in the big leagues, doesn't matter how good a prospect you are. So, yeah, they have overall not done a great job developing hitters.